My wife left for one day. When she returned, I was already gone. But before we continue, write in the comments which country you're watching this from and how old you are. Enjoy listening. I always thought I knew my wife. It's 15 years together. That's no joke. We went through fire, water, mortgages, and business launches. I'm Brandon Mitchell, 42 years old, owner of Auto Pro Service Center Network throughout the city, 5 locations, 35 employees, honest reputation. I started with 1 garage and a toolbox. Now it's a stable business where they value reliability. Just like me. Jessica and I met in the summer of 2008 at Friend's Country House. Smart, ambitious, with eyes that took your breath away. 2 years later, we got married modestly by the river without pomp. I developed the service centers. She built her career in IT at Tech Vision. We were considered the perfect couple. Reliable, successful, strong. I thought so too, until one April evening, I was supposed to be on a business trip in Chicago, meeting with a potential partner. Everything went faster than expected, and I decided to surprise Jessica, come home early. Our 15th anniversary was a good reason. I entered the house quietly, hoping to find her in the kitchen or in her robe. But it was quiet. I thought she was still at the office. I went into our home office, wanted to check the papers she promised to sign, but her laptop was open, showing her email. I wasn't going to snoop, but a notification popped up. Can't wait! For tomorrow, from T, I clicked. And then, no breath, no thoughts. Correspondence with someone named Tyler, dozens of emails. Intimate plans for the weekend, photos I'll never be able to forget. They were planning to go to the country house, the same one Jessica's parents sometimes rented out. While I was supposed to be in Chicago, she was going there with him. I stood there, hands shaking. At that moment, keys jingled in the lock. Hi, Jessica. Was back? Brandon? You're home? She called from the hallway. I closed the laptop. My brain frantically searched for options. Speak up or stay silent. She entered the room and smiled in surprise. Flight was canceled, I said, deciding to return. Great. I missed you. She reached to hug me, but I pulled away. Who is Tyler? Face darkened. Just a colleague. We're working on a project together. Working on a project? My voice was steady, but everything was boiling inside, with overnight stays and a room with a jacuzzi. She went on the attack. You went through my email. You're violating my privacy. We've been married for 15 years, Jessica. Privacy, while you're planning weekends with your lover. She sank into the chair. It was just a couple of months. You often worked late. Everything just spiraled. I didn't want to. No excuses. Cut her off. This is a choice. You knew what you were doing. Is he coming here tomorrow? To our house. Silence. No, we wanted to go to the country house. Doesn't matter. You chose him. And while I was in Chicago, you were planning to disappear with your project. I wonder, does he know I'm already home? I got a text from Connor, my friend who owns the sports bar. You back? Saw your car? Come by. I'll pour you one. I'm leaving. Don't wait up, I said, throwing on my jacket. Brandon, wait. This was a mistake. It meant nothing. If it meant nothing, I stopped at the door. Then it's even worse. That means you betrayed everything for emptiness. I drove in complete silence, hands gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles went white. I reached Connor's bar. He was already waiting with 2 glasses. You look like you've seen a ghost, he said, looking at me. I told him everything. Calmly, point by point. With each sip, it got a little easier. Connor listened silently, only his brows furrowing more and more. Brother, she made her choice. Now you need to make yours. What's next? I don't know, I admitted. I want to think everything through, not act rashly. Right? Just don't let her turn everything against you. Gather all the evidence, receipts, correspondence, then decide. My phone was buzzing with calls. Jessica was calling non-stop. I turned off the sound. An hour later, Emma, my office manager, approached us. "Brendon, I found you. Jessica called the office looking for you. She said you disappeared. What did you tell her?" "That I don't know where you are." She sounded strange. Did something happen? I looked into her eyes. Emma had worked with me for 8 years. I trusted her. "She's cheating on me," I said calmly. Everything came out today. Emma lowered her eyes. "Then you should know 3 weeks ago when I was delivering documents to your house for signing. I saw her getting into a silver Audi. There was a man there. She said he just gave her a ride to a meeting. Do you remember the license plate?" "I do. Vanity plate, Tech 20. Connor immediately pulled out his phone. "Have a friend at the DMV. I'll find out who it belongs to." I nodded. Inside, something clicked. Everything was falling into place. "Emma, if needed, can I ask you for a couple more things in the coming days? Whatever you need, Brendon." I felt anger receding, replaced by clarity. Not revenge, calculation. Hey, this wouldn't be an impulse, but a plan. Strategy. She wanted to disappear. For the weekend? Well, let her disappear. And I'll disappear for real. The next morning, I was at the office before everyone else. I opened the gates, breathed in the smell of motor oil and work routine. Here, everything was clear. Unlike marriage, by noon, Connor called back. The plate belongs to Tyler Morrison, 36 years old, Deputy Director of Products at Tech Vision. So, her boss. "I see," I summarized. "Want to back out?" "No, I want to know everything." A minute later, I got a text from Jessica. "Please come home early today. We need to talk. I'll explain everything." I didn't reply. Instead, I called my brother. "Derek, a lawyer in Boston. I need a consultation on divorce proceedings." He listened to everything without interrupting. "Document everything," he said. "Your area, the innocent party. But if there's adultery and spending of joint money, it can affect the outcome. Joint money, check the accounts. She was spending on him, hotels, gifts, trips. It's important." Evening, Emma approached me again. "There's something else. When I was at your house a month ago, I heard Jessica talking on the phone. At the country house, we'll rest from everything. Get away from it all." And this coincided with their weekend plans. Everything became finally clear. Emma, do one thing. Call Jessica and say, "I looked upset, said I'd stay late at the office." She understood immediately. That evening, I drove to the house, parked around the corner. Walking on tiptoes like a thief, through the living room window, I saw Jessica pacing the room. Nervously talking on the phone. He suspects, Tyler, but doesn't know for sure yet. "Don't cancel the country house. I'll handle him. It's always at his service centers. Won't even notice." She laughed. Easily, freely, confidently. I stood in the darkness, listening, and no longer felt pain. Only calm. Everything I needed to know, I had heard. Why argue? Why prove? I turned and left. I spent the night at Connor's. We sat up late discussing possible steps. "Are you sure you want to go through with this?" he asked. "More than sure. She thinks she's controlling the situation. Time to show her it's the opposite." In the morning, I began to act. First step, the bank. I opened a separate account and transferred half of Jessica's and my joint savings there. Not everything. I didn't want revenge. I was defending myself. Then a meeting with my lawyer, Kevin. We studied together at technical college. Then he retrained in law. "I don't handle divorces, but I'll help you," he said. "Especially since everything's obvious here." He explained that with evidence of adultery, especially if joint funds were used, he could achieve a more fair division. I focused on protecting the business. I gathered documents on the service centers, prepared papers for equipment and corporate accounts. Emma brought the necessary folders, prepared everything. Jessica called again today. She said, "Asked me to find you." I said you were in negotiations. All day, I nodded. Thanks. Let her believe in her illusion. Messages kept coming to my phone. Please come home. I made your favorite dinner. We need to talk. I didn't respond. Late that evening, I spoke with my brother. The documents will be with you tomorrow morning, he confirmed. But are you sure you don't want to talk to her in person? No. I have nothing to say. But I returned to our house closer to midnight, parked 2 houses away. There were lights in the windows. Jessica was rushing around the kitchen, checking her phone. I felt no pity, only determination. I texted Connor, "It's time." "Stay strong, brother," he replied. "You're doing everything right." Before going to sleep in Connor's guest room, I composed a letter, short and precise. It would lie on the pillow next to hers. The next morning, I met with my brother. Flew in from Boston to help personally. "Everything's in the package," he said, handing me a folder. Divorce, property division, documents, application to freeze joint investments. "Thanks, brother." We sat down for breakfast and I outlined the final plan. Jessica thinks I'm still in Chicago. Today she's leaving with Tyler to the country house. Tomorrow she should return, but home won't be waiting for her. Not a husband, but silence. After the meeting, I stopped by the bank, opened the safe, and took out old family documents. Photographs, father's watch, wedding ring. It would wait. For her on the pillow, Connor texted. She left the house. Bag keys, drove off. I waited half an hour, then entered the house. Everything seemed foreign. The bed, kitchen, bathroom like decorations that had lost their meaning. I collected only personal items, left everything else. In the bedroom, I placed the wedding ring, documents, and a note on the pillow. "Jessica, you disappeared for 1 day. When you return, I'll already be gone. I know everything about Tyler, about the country house plans. No explanations needed. My lawyer will contact you." Brendon and I left, closed the door, gave the duplicate keys to Connor. The past was behind. Friday, Jessica called dozens of times, wrote, "Where are you? I'm scared. You disappeared. I didn't go anywhere. Come back." Sarcastically, she had planned to disappear, but I did it instead. Saturday, Emma called. "Jessica came to work looking for you." She was shouting, demanding office keys. I said I hadn't seen you. Had to threaten to call security. "Thanks," was all I said. Connor reported that she had already called him asking where I was. Played it brilliantly. I don't know myself. Maybe a person needs to think. Sometimes people just disappear. Sunday morning, I got a message from a neighbor. "Jessica's parents are at your house." Looks like she called them. "Are you okay?" Everything was going according to plan. Final stage processing documents. By noon, Derek and I had filed everything in court. Joint accounts frozen, business protected, shares divided of the service centers. Remain mine according to the pre-NUP. Monday, I came to the office. Emma was the first to meet me. "Good morning, Brendon. You have a meeting with the supplier at 9 o'clock. Coffee in the office? Thanks, Emma, and for everything you did." Colleagues who read my letter nodded silently with support. No unnecessary questions. By noon, the office door burst open. Jessica? Disheveled, with swollen eyes, in wrinkled jeans and jacket. "Where were you?" She screamed. "I filed a missing person report. Called all the hospitals. Are you even normal?" "I left you a letter," I replied calmly. "A letter? That's how you end. 15 years of marriage. 4 lines. And how did you end it, Jessica? Correspondence with a lover, country house plans while I'm on business trips. It was a mistake. Meaningless. It meant nothing. And that makes it even worse. You betrayed me just like that, without reason, out of boredom. She collapsed into a chair, broken, and what now? Divorce? Simply, quietly, through lawyers. And if I refuse, then everything becomes public. Correspondence, photos, meeting places, parents, friends, colleagues, everyone will know. Do you need that? She nodded silently. You've changed. Yes, I'm no longer the one who forgives silently. I'm the one who leaves forever. 3 months passed. Jessica signed all the papers. We divorced officially. She kept the house. I preserved. Everything I built myself. We no longer spoke. I threw myself into work. Opened a 6th location in the south of the city. Expanded staff. Forecasts began to grow, and I grew with them. One evening, Emma stayed late at the office. We were sitting with reports, and she suddenly said, "You've become different, collected, alive." I smiled, and you were always there. Thank you. Over time, our relationship became closer, unhurried, with respect, without rush, for the 5th anniversary of the bar. Connor invited us together. Bring a companion, Brendon. Stop being alone. At the celebration, Jessica appeared. Thinner, aged, with dark hair. I didn't know you'd be here, she whispered. It's my best friend's bar. Why not? Are you good? I heard about the 6th location. Congratulations. Thanks. Pause. Then she lowered her eyes. Tyler and I broke up. It was empty. I realized it too late. I looked calmly. I hope you find what you're looking for. I already found it. Just didn't understand then. And now it's too late, I replied. The Brendon you knew is gone. She nodded, holding back tears. Sorry for everything. I forgave you long ago. But there's no way back. A year after the betrayal, I signed papers for the 7th Service Center. At the celebration were my brother and Emma. The 3 of us sat by the cafe window with a view of the city. Remember where you were a year ago? Derek said. Now? Look at yourself. I smiled. Sometimes, to find yourself, you just need to disappear. Emma squeezed my hand. The most romantic thing you've ever said. I took out a key. This isn't a request to move in. Just that you're always welcome. Without lies, without secrets. She silently accepted the key. We went out to the embankment. Wind from the river, warm spring. We didn't speak, but words weren't needed. That evening, I received a letter from Jessica, Brendon. I heard about your success. When you disappeared, I understood what it's like to be betrayed. You were right. Sometimes a person leaves for one day and returns completely different. I hope Emma appreciates this. I didn't. I closed the letter without replying. Some chapters don't need to be reread. They just need to be closed. Thanks for watching. If the story touched you, support with a like and subscribe. And don't forget to write in the comments where you're from and how old you are. We're very interested.